Well, the defense in the double murder trial of South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh questioned Murdaugh's son today, and what he said could be taken a couple of different ways. Here's the senior correspondent, Eric Shawn.
And if you'll state your full name and spell your last name.
Richard Alexander Murdaugh, Jr. I go by Buster.
Alex Murdaugh's oldest and surviving son, Buster, came to his father's defense on Tuesday. Buster Murdaugh testified his dad seemed distraught and was, quote, destroyed by the murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul. Defense expert Mike Sutton claimed forensics from the angle of the bullet wounds showed that Murdaugh is too tall to have been the shooter. The prosecution, though, tried to show Sutton's conclusions were guesswork. Meanwhile, while Buster testified, his father smiled at him from the defense table. His son described a loving dad and a close-knit family. The trial is expected to wrap up next week. Trace?
Eric, thank you. Now for legal analysis, let's bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vikas Bajaj. Vic, I want to end with what Eric was talking about there at the end. Then we'll get into what the son was testifying about. This defense engineer who produces digital reproductions of crime scenes says whoever shot Maggie Murdaugh would have had to have been at least a foot shorter than Alex Murdaugh. Do you believe in that kind of evidence, and does it sway the jury?
I believe in that kind of evidence, absolutely, Trace. The problem is the admissibility of the evidence is clearly there. The weight the jury will obtain and actually assign to that evidence may be very low. I mean, there are so many variables that the prosecutor astutely pointed out. In a case like this, we use this type of information, but we specifically portray it with the real reconstruction with video and audio of the injuries as they took place in real time. We didn't have that in this case presented by the defense. It was really an individual who presented conjecture and possibilities, which may be what the defense is after to create reasonable doubt. Very little weight, although admissible. Yeah, and now to Buster Murdaugh being on the stand today. This was fascinating because there was a lot of play in the prosecution's case about the interview that Alex Murdaugh did with investigators, whether he said they did him bad or I did him bad. So here's what the son was asked today in court. Watch.
It was just so bad. It's so bad.
What'd your dad say? Said they did them so bad.
I mean, it's one of those things where that's a matter of opinion, Vic, right? It's not like he can identify the voice. That's totally a matter of opinion on what he said.
Well, yes, and it really takes away from the credibility of Buster Murdaugh in this case. I mean, what they really did with him is they already addressed this issue when they slowed down that recording at 30%. Yeah. And I thought that was quite compelling for the jury to listen to. And there's a variety of other ways to attack this issue. But what they did with Buster is they really provided a bit of perpetual stew. Yeah. He was not only the gun strewer along the property. I may have taken a shower and left the water there that the Blanca saw at the house. The kennels only take 10 minutes to clean, you know, and there are vehicles strewn beyond the property. There were social media threats. I mean, he was a minestrone soup of the defense as a witness, and that takes away from the credibility in a substantial and powerful way.
I've only got a few seconds left, but I was fascinated at what he didn't say today. He never looked at the jury, and there was never a moment that he said, look, I love my dad, and my dad loved my mom and my brother. Never really said that, and I was kind of surprised. Your final thoughts?
That's right, and the defense has portrayed this as, you know, pick your artist, but the lyrics are he's the father and the husband that just loved too much to create this type of a crime, and the direct questions were not asked, and they should have been.
Yeah. Vikas Bajaj, great to see you as always. Thank you.
Thank you.